Welcome back to Bad Advice from Self-Defense Instructors. One of the worst things a self-defense instructor can tell you is, and I do still hear this and see this out there, you don't need to spar. What we do, it's too dangerous. Think about that for a second. You're supposedly learning skills to use against someone who's actually trying to hurt you, but you're never allowed to practice against someone who's actually trying to stop you. There's a big problem there. With all this also, I want to make an important distinction. Sparring and pressure testing are not exactly the same thing. Sparring is not fighting, is not self-defense. Sparring gives you a chance to deal with another person who's moving, attacking, defending, and making decisions. Pressure testing takes that idea further. It can mean adding resistance, surprise, fatigue, bad positions, verbal aggression, environmental problems, multiple bad guys, weapons, forcing you to make decisions when you don't know exactly what's coming. And that's all incredibly important in Krav Maga. There are a ton of things in the martial arts that you can do when you're ready for them. Self-defense training, however, I care about what we can get people to do when they're not ready. That's what matters. That's part of what training from a position of disadvantage really means. Because if we're claiming to teach people self-defense, eventually the other person has to stop cooperating. Look at it like this. You can practice a punch defense 1,000 times. Eventually, somebody needs to actually try to hit you. You can practice escaping a grab. Eventually, somebody needs to actually try to hold on to you, drag you off, hold you for their friends to mess with, whatever that may look like. You can practice defending yourself on the ground. Eventually, somebody needs to actually try to keep you there, or just even try to step on you. Knowing a technique and being able to use that technique are two very different things. That's actually one of the great lessons that we can take from combat sports. Boxers regularly deal with people trying to hit them. Wrestlers deal with people trying to control them all the time. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners deal with people actively resisting everything that they're trying to do. Now, does that make sparring exactly like a violent encounter? Absolutely not. Of course not. Those are still sports, and along with that goes the rules that encompass those sports. Real self-defense involves surprise, weapons, confined spaces, protecting somebody else, the list goes on and on. And that's where pressure testing becomes different from sparring. Sparring gives us resistance. Pressure testing lets us start adding some of those other problems. That said, it needs to be progressive, however. First learn the skill, then add resistance, then add uncertainty, then add decision making. And yeah, sometimes you should fail, because failure in training gives you information. I'd much rather discover that something falls apart here with a training partner than somewhere where it actually matters out there where someone's actually trying to hurt me. That's something we put a lot of emphasis on in our Krav Maga training here at Mission Hills Martial Arts. Not because we're trying to create tougher workouts, it's because we're trying to make better problem solvers, and that's really what all this is. So when you're evaluating any self-defense training, ask yourself just one simple question. Do I ever have to make this work against someone who does not want me to? Because if your self-defense only works when the other person cooperates, you're not practicing self-defense anymore. You're practicing choreography.